Hey everybody, it's Cassidy Civet here with a video about how I made my Fursona, how I made Cassidy the Civet, as you can tell by the title. Now I assume most of you have some working knowledge as to what a Fursona is, but to simplify, it is a character that represents you or a part of you represented through an anthropomorphic animal of some kind. Doesn't even need to always be an animal. Looking at you, protogens. And though a persona is typically used within the furry fandom, a persona itself does not technically need to be furry in a fur sort of way. You know, it could be a dragon, it can be a bird, it can be whatever. You don't need a persona to be a furry either. You just need to self-identify as having an interest in anthropomorphic characters, and then boom, you're a furry. You don't need to have a persona, but this is just a guide, sort of, but mostly my own experience. And I hope that my own tips can help you in some way. And I hope that me rambling on about how I made my Sona will hopefully inspire you to make yours or give you some ideas. This isn't gospel or some strict guide to follow. It's just how I came to decide that I wanted to be represented as a civet. There's lots of ways you can make a Sona, whether it's finding an animal you sort of vibe with, or just dumping a paint bucket of your favorite primary color into a free template you found on Google. Anywhere is a good place to start. So here is the first official ref sheet for me, Cassidy Civet. You may notice that my iconic tri-color hairstyle is nowhere to be found on this ref. Well, that's because at the time I got it done, it didn't exist. Well, not really. Not as a part of my character, anyway. As a kid, I had a collection of paper dolls that I made myself, that I still have to this day. And one of my dolls had this exact same hair. Now, the hair has kind of fallen out, given that the doll is kind of like 15 years old at this point. But you can kind of see where the idea came from on here, right? You can see the brown hair on top, the blonde hair on the bottom, and then if you look up on the head, you can see where the white hair used to be, but it's since fallen out. At some point, I decided, wait, what if my Sona had that hair? And I got my friend to draw it, and bang, it was decided. The rest is history. Isn't that cool that something that I made when I was like 6 or 7 years old is still being referenced as part of my character to this day? That's cool. The white hair is something I want to touch on as well. Many pieces of media from back in the 2000s and even in the 90s had white-haired goddesses. From Storm from the X-Men to Mirage from the Incredibles, to real-life queens like Courtney Yates from Survivor China and Heroes vs. Villains, who was a very famous sass master who had a lot of personal influence on me. Just check out this art commission I got. Notice the similarity? Now, I just mentioned Survivor, which some of you may know is one of my all-time favorite passions. I've auditioned for it like 3 times. But fun fact, it's also how I discovered civets. I always get that question. How did you discover civets? I actually have a civet friend who found civets through a random animal generator of African animals. So there's lots of ways to find a species that you like. But for me, I was watching Survivor Caramoan sometime back in the early 2010s, and bam! Little civet just kind of hanging out on the screen. Technically not the first civet in Survivor history. That goes to this African civet cutie from the intro of Survivor Gabon, which I would have noticed if I had been paying attention. So I spent a few months online trying to identify what this animal was that I had seen in Survivor. And it wasn't until I actually tried posting this bad image I took, instead of just vague Google searches, that I got my answer. Now, if you're an astute observer, you will notice that my civet character design kind of pulls elements from both Malay civets and Asian palm civets, but I just say Malay because it's easier, you know? I don't really consider myself a hybrid. This is just how I was designed. It's like combining Indian tigers with Siberian tigers. It's just say tiger, you know? Saves a lot of time. And who are you, the civet police? Like, leave me alone, okay? My outfits that my Sona wears are largely influenced by the fashion of the 2000s and the 90s, especially pop music and the music videos that go along with some of my favorite songs. The top I typically use was influenced by the Sierra music video for Goodies, and Cassie's video for Me and You. The pants I sometimes use came from Christina Aguilera's music video for the song Dirty. The orange shorts are all mine though. At least as of this moment, I haven't been able to find a music video where the singer is like wearing orange booty shorts. So I take full credit on those. Now, I don't want to rant for too long about music videos because I'm a bit of a crazy nut when it comes to music videos, like seriously, but I'll just put up a few examples here of ones that influenced my sort of style and aesthetic. If you know, you'll know. Now, I just mentioned a few singers whose names might seem like they fit nicely in with Cassidy, and you'd be right. These singers' names are definitely a part of what led to me to pick my Fursona name. Both my siblings have hard C names, Cooper and Caprice, so it's kind of funny I naturally gravitated toward a name like Cassidy. I also liked Cassidy because it's sort of gender neutral, but kinda leans femme. This was reinforced by a Simpsons joke that I happened to see around the time I was creating my Sona that really reinforced the point.
Cassidy is a girl's name now.
It just sort of clicked for me. I was also considering the name Celeste at the time because of my love of the show Babar, but it didn't really meet my like hard C names with A's and S's aesthetic that I seem to like, because I also like names like Ashley and Anastasia and also names like Shakira. I just think they're neat. Cassidy just struck the perfect chord for me. Now, I also don't want to go too far into the gender side of my Sona because I think it could be its own video to discuss, but basically I started in one place and ended up in a whole other place. I started as genderless, then what if I just had boobs? Then, oops, full female. So yes, Cassidy is full female, she, her, that's it. My Sona's gender is different from my own personal gender, which is its own complicated string of thoughts and whatever. It's hard for me to define it even at this point, but I do my best. Out of suit, I still go by she, her. Every day is a journey of self-discovery, and I don't think I've found everything I need to find about myself yet. And that's my Sona explained! Making a Sona can be one of the most fun things you do in the furry fandom, and heck, you can even have multiple if you so choose. Me personally, I only have the one, but I also have one character that doesn't really represent who I am, it's just sort of a role that I like to play. That's how I distinguish fursonas and characters. I have one Sona and one character. But if you're struggling to think of something amazing on the first try, just doodle up literally anything. Just experiment with different designs and stuff, and then one day when you commission an artist to do a ref sheet for you, you'll have a visual thing that you can give them and be like, this, but better, instead of like a paragraph of you trying to describe every detail. It's good to even have a sketch. Even if you're not the world's best artist, it really goes a long way. Thank you guys for watching this way too long of a video explaining my own character. I might even expand on it in the future if I can think of more things that influenced me as a kid, but for now I think I'm good leaving it where it is. It's long enough, right? I hope you found some of it interesting. A lot goes into making a character that's this personal, you know? For now though, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and Spotify, Bandcamp, Patreon, all the things linked in the description below. So one problem when pointing below is that then the pads disappear. Below. I've also got a new song coming out very soon, so please make sure that you click that pre-save link, because if you pre-save the song, you'll get it notified to you the second it drops. Don't you want to be one of the first people to hear it? I bet you do. So go click that pre-save link and give it a listen once it's out. Anyways, this outro has been too long already, so I am Cassidy the Civet. You've just watched a video about how I came into existence, and I will see you guys next time here on the Cassidy Civet channel. Bye!